Hello everybody, my name's Alyssa Cooper and this is Cooking in Quarantine, and this is part 2 of preparing Melissa Clark's one pot, one pan Thanksgiving. But I'm not so concerned about the one pot and the one pan as the fact that she says we can do it in 3 hours. So if you remember yesterday, I made the cranberry sauce, and I'm going to put the burr mixer through it just a little bit to smooth out some of the big berries, because I do like it a little smoother than that. So we'll get to that in a minute. I do have a little glass of Vino Verde because I'm just a little thirsty. I've been up very early, went to PT at 8 this morning. I feel so good, but oh mama. And I need to get my second bottle of water down. So let's have a sip. And next, other things I'm going to do. If you saw, the idea is not to make a big sweet potato casserole, but to make little individual baked sweet potatoes. Split them. Melissa says put butter and marshmallows in there. Not for me, but I am going to get ready, and I'm going to have my walnuts toasted, my sugar, my flour, all the stuff ready to go for the crumble that goes on top of these, and get these wrapped up in aluminum foil so that they're ready to go for tomorrow. The other thing we've got to do is get the brine going on the turkey. So here's where we are with that. Before I pull this back, I certainly am going to need my this guy, and I probably would be happier if I had a little plate. So let's get a little plate to work with here also. So this is a very simple, it's really it's a dry brine, right? So what we're going to do is do salt, pepper, garlic, and thyme on the turkey. But as I have just noticed, I do not have the turkey unwrapped or anything, so let's get that out of here. And I found this turkey that is all natural breast of young turkey with ribs. And let's see, ranch raised, nothing, no added steroids or hormones, and all good. So let's get this open, but let's take this to the sink before it gets everywhere, just in case it needs to be. I guess I could have done this for you before I came on board, huh? Okay, let's grab this and give it a good cut. Okay, now I'm going to need to cover my pan here with too many things on my very small counter this morning. Let's make a little more room and a little more space here so that it's a little easier to navigate. Let's get the turkey juices off my fingers. That's important. And then I'm going to take my little half sheet pan here. I've got paper towels here on this. And now we're going to see what we have to do here. I need to move this. Let's see if a whole bunch of juice is going to come pouring out of here or not before I completely take this out of my sink. There we go. Oh, nice, nice. Nice looking turkey breast. Okay, that is a lot of turkey breast. All right, so this is not completely thawed yet. So I'm going to not only set this up, get its brine going, but I may have to leave it out of the fridge for a little while just to let it get, because I still see that at the backbone it's still frozen. I've had this in my refrigerator since Monday morning, and it's Wednesday, and it still is not thawed. So that's a lot to consider. I get a couple more paper towels. I'm making full spins today, aren't I? Here we go. Nice, nice. Dry it, pat it nice and dry. And there we go. Now, while this is sitting here, I'm going to wash my hands a little better before I do anything else here, because it is poultry, right? And we don't want to get any cross-contamination on anything. Boom, 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 boom. Clean hands. I have got to do some laundry because I think I am completely out of, like, bar mops kind of towels. Okay, so what are we going to do here? So this wants me to rub this with a couple of cloves of garlic. So you know me, if it calls for 2, I'm going to use 3. And I thought I popped these earlier, but I guess I didn't do as good a job as I thought I'd done. Let's see. get these. Well, let's give it another smack. There we go. Another smack might get it. I was reading the most interesting article a few minutes ago about how the Inuit raise their children, and that they never lose they never get angry with their children, because they look at losing your temper to a child as behaving like a child. And so that as adults, they are completely even-tempered, and if someone does show temper, no one reacts to it. I found it absolutely fascinating. And wouldn't it be great if we were more in control of our emotions and raised our own children with a little bit more sense of even-keeledness? Is that the word? Is that a word, a phrase that I'm looking for? All right, so I'm gonna give these guys a good. So I'm gonna really use this and just slather this all over it. I may even mix a little salt in with it and do that as well. So let's see what we've got going here. Okay, here. This is not a wet brine. I've done wet brines for the last many years and loved them. But hey, the whole point of this is to brine and bake this turkey breast in a way so that just all I have to do is then tomorrow, while it's cooking, at some point, throw my Brussels sprouts on, and all of the flavors from the turkey are going to be exactly the flavors you want to flavor. Pardon me, I'm kind of drooling from the smell of garlic and talking about food. To flavor your Brussels sprouts, so that again, it's that much simpler. Okay, so I have gotten this here now. So I'm going to start on the bottom side. I'm going to take a little of this garlic, and I'm just going to rub it. Whoops, let's try not to get it all over. On this bottom side here. A little bit more. My hands will stink. They'll smell me coming from a mile away. But let's get this side done. So there's this. And then I really need to do a few other things, but I can't do it without a hand. Hello, Thomas. How are you? Delicious, crispy skin. There you go. So here we go. So I've got the first side garlicky. And then I'm going to use my big grinder to get plenty of salt around here. I'm going to let it go into that cavity too. And I'm going to do the same thing with the pepper, because I'm not afraid of pepper. You know how we like it spicy here at my house. I might live forever because I like it so spicy. And then I'm going to take my little hands and I'm going to just give that a good pat so that that all goes in. And I'm going to flip it. Oh, baby. I'm going to flip it. And when I flip it, I'm going to try to flip it and take this paper towel out from under it so that I can use this. Perfect. That's beautiful. Clean my hands again so that those of you who are watching me cook, you won't be afraid to come and eat with me sometime in the next year or so. All right, so now we've got this big, pretty, beautiful skinned side, which you guys probably can't see. So let me move everything back. There we go. Now we can see some things. Here we go. Let me move this little guy because I don't need him just this minute. We're going to pull this guy back. Now, before I start the second side, I am going to go ahead and, whoops, toss that and that over there. Pull my sleeves up, and I'm going to get my thyme going. Help me, did it? I should have done all of this before, but I went to PT this morning and then I came back and I took a bubble bath, and I've been talking about cooking for Thanksgiving with my girlfriends from elementary and high school all morning. So hello, girls, I know you're out there somewhere. And so yeah, that's what I've been doing this morning, and I'm so happy to be able to have all of this good food, and it's so simple. You know, I've watched my mom for years make 1,000 side dishes. Oh, my grandmother was even worse. She would make not just the perfect Thanksgiving dinner, but everybody's dream Thanksgiving dinner. So, for example, my dad is the only person who eats baked oysters. But there would always be a giant baked oyster casserole. I'm the only person who eats trifle, yet there would be a giant bowl of trifle there for me. And she would cook for a week, really and truly. As a matter of fact, she died in the weekend before Thanksgiving, and she had already done all of her shopping. And so we literally didn't have to buy a thing. We just walked into her house and cooked Thanksgiving dinner. And, that was kind of an interesting memory to have, and such a interesting person she was. So here we go. So I'm still making some time and hoping that we get, how much does this say I really need? I need a tablespoon of fresh thyme. So let's see, what is that starting to look like? That's a little more than a teaspoon. So I'm going to do a couple more of these babies, and we'll see where we end up. Here's this, da-dum-da-dum, and here's this. Yeah, we're getting there. This is getting there. One more, two more little bits, and we'll have plenty of time in here. We can always make a little bit more. Now, I am going to now take this, and since I have this spatula right here, I'm going to use it, and I'm going to smear this garlic all over. Oh my gosh, that is just going to be great. And I'm thinking about all the things you could do. You could do, if you wanted to do something that's got some Asian flavoring in your marinade, there would be no problem with putting ginger all over this baby. You know how I like ginger, but the ginger isn't going to go really well with wouldn't go quite as well with the stuffing that I'm so excited about. So this is nice and garlicky, and so think about how this garlic, as it bakes in tomorrow, is going to get down onto the pan and then flavor all of those Brussels sprouts that are going to be there. Now, I'm going to just take this little handful of stuff that falls out of the bottom and use it. Put that all right in here. Here we go. Perfect. This kind of reminds me of what it makes me think of when I was a kid and I'd watch my grandfather do the hams, and we pack them in salt and sugar, cover them all over. So yum. If I run out of pepper, I've run out of pepper. Let's go right here. Pepper is right here. We can't under pepper. That would just be all kind of wrong, wouldn't it? Oops, I've overfilled. There. And let's see, get this baby back on. And then I think I'm going to do a little handful of cracks so that I can make sure and get the sides done. So let me just there we go. Now I'm going to take this and just kind of pack it around the sides a little bit so that we make sure that we get salt and pepper everywhere. Now, this needs to be timed. Let's time it. I could probably use a little more time, but I will not bore you with the time picking. I'll do some time picking on my own time. So we're back to hands. Thank you, Kelly. It's a very dry day here in New York, and so my hair is giant today. And I used the good Bumble and Bumble, shout out to Bumble and Bumble, for the excellent poofy mousse I used in the pretty blue can. I'm not good enough, Bumble and Bumble, to be able to tell you what exactly I used, because, you know, I take my insights from others. So here we go. Next. So now that pretty turkey is, and I am as wet as can be, but this pretty turkey is nice and covered up with salt and all kinds of stuff. So in a minute I will cover that and put it back in the fridge. But then before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to check it and make sure that it's not still frozen. If it is, I'll just set it out on the counter overnight. It was about 60 degrees in my apartment when I woke up this morning, so I don't think you have to worry about anybody dying from a turkey sitting there for a couple of hours. All right, now you know that I'm probably going to burn these. What? Oh gosh, there's a walnut shell in my walnuts. That's pretty cool. All right, I'm going to get a couple little wonky pieces out, but I don't think we need a lot because it's just a few. This is a little one piece of the topping that'll go on the potatoes. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get them wrapped up in aluminum foil. So that's one less thing I have to do tomorrow. And I've gotten these little tiny ones that'll bake up in like 20-30 minutes. And then we'll take them out and then finish them under the broiler at the last minute. All right, split them, put a little butter, put my little topping, my little cinnamon, brown sugar, butter, flour topping, so that it kind of turns out like a crumb topping, right? Just a little bit of each, just enough to keep it all together. And these are now that much simpler to deal with because, hello, we're done already. Anything that you can do tonight is something you don't have to do tomorrow, right? And finally, now Melissa does say to wrap them in like 3 layers of aluminum foil, to which I say, bah humbug. That's just a waste of aluminum foil. So look at this. I have 6 tiny little potatoes ready to go in the morning. That's done. Now, of course, I'm running out of flat surfaces to put things. What else? Okay, next. So I guess I better pay attention to my nuts because this is exactly how I end up burning nuts, right? So I just want to have these chopped up and ready to go. I forgot I poured myself a tiny glass of wine. This is Vino Verde, so it's okay to drink in the morning because it's only like 10% alcohol. People in the 1st century drank more, or in the turn of the last millennia, drank more alcohol for breakfast than I am. So, yes, there we go. So they're coming. They're not quite there. Let's see. The next thing I can get set up for is to put a little puree in my cranberry, and I like it like that. That's just what I like. It's a little smoother, but still homemade, right? I don't like the stuff out of the can because I know a lot of people love it, and I'm not in any way looking down on you. Everybody's taste is their own, and you're welcome to think that way. Hello, Caroline. Woohoo! And here we go. So there we go. I almost burned them, but they're starting to show a little color on one side. So let me just give them a little flop, and there's the one I lost. We'll just let them sit there. And then, let's see. Now let's have a little taste and see how good this stuff turned out. Remember, if I remember correctly, what did I do? Ginger, orange and lemon zest, and orange and lemon juice. Oh my gosh, that is delicious. I'm so excited. Thank you, Melissa Clark, for such an easy Thanksgiving. So I'm just going to, not a lot, because I do want still some chunks in there, but I just don't want any whole pieces in there. And then just a little in the middle, and boom, now I'm done. See, I just don't want whole berries in there. I just wanted everything to be chunked up a tiny bit. That was easy, huh? It's almost not worth dirtying up something that has to wash. And now this should go into something pretty. Do I have something pretty to put it in? I should, but let's think about that. What are we going to put that in? I don't know, but that is pretty much everything I have to do today. So in the morning, whenever I get up, I'm going to ask my couple of guests if they prefer lunch, late lunch, early dinner, or dinner. So whenever it comes time for me to start putting stuff together is when I'll come on tomorrow and show you what I'm doing. So we'll get the oven, we'll get the last of the stuff on the turkey, get that in, and get the potatoes baking. Two things that I haven't done. Oh, and of course we'll make stuffing and gravy, or dressing and gravy, which is my favorite part of Thanksgiving. The two things I haven't addressed is rolls, because I kind of feel like stuffing is bread and that it becomes redundant. And I know a lot of people love their rolls, but what are you going to do? And then I haven't talked about dessert because, you know, I'm not a sweet eater. And so I have thought long and hard about it. And I'm going to make a trip through Trader Joe's today to see if they've gotten the pink poinsettias in yet. And if they have, and I go through the checkout, I will, I don't know, get a molasses cookie and whip up some whipped cream and get a bottle of Bailey's or something and do a nice fun coffee drink with a little cookie on the side. I feel like that after this huge meal, are you really craving anything extra? I know there are those of you who have sweet teeth and are always excited about having a little bite of sweet afterwards. Maybe a couple little chocolates or something. Do I have anything back here? Sometimes I have a little candy hidden back there, but I don't today. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking about. If anybody says, can I bring anything? I'll say, you can always bring champagne. That's what I always say. And if somebody really wants dessert, they can bring or make dessert. So that's my idea for tomorrow. And that's it, guys. I'm going to sign off for today. Thank you for finding me here. And join me back at what? I don't know. I'll have to tell you later what time it'll be tomorrow. Who knows? Thanks all. Take care of yourself. Oh, Caroline wants to know who's coming to Thanksgiving. Tom, my neighbor who cuts my hair. And everybody else's hair around here. And Linda and Stephen who live downstairs. So there'll just be 4 of us, and I realize I can make 2 tables quite far away from each other, and then we can still socially distance. You know, Tom and I have been back and forth at each other's houses, apartments, you know, all since March. So, and that's all. So there you go. I love you all. I hope you all have a wonderful, or are having wonderful Thanksgiving planning wherever you are. I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.